The conversation started with a spreadsheet. My dad liked spreadsheets. He trusted columns more than feelings. Numbers didn't argue back. We were at the kitchen table, the same one I'd done homework out for years, and he rotated his laptop toward me like he was presenting quarterly earnings. "I've adjusted the household contributions," he said. Adjusted, not increased, adjusted. I scanned the rows. Utilities, groceries, mortgage contribution, maintenance. My share had jumped by half. My brother's numbers hadn't moved. "It's only fair you pay more than your brothers," he added. Before I could ask, "You make more." The statement hung there, framed as logic instead of preference. I looked at my brothers. One was scrolling on his phone. The other stared at the wall like he'd been told to study a crack in the paint. Neither objected, neither thanked me. I had always been the dependable one. First steady job, first credit card paid off, first one to understand how interest worked. Dependable quietly becomes responsible. Responsible slowly becomes obligated. "Why am I covering the difference?" I asked. "You're not covering," Dad replied, voice steady. "You're contributing according to ability. That's how families work." I almost believed him. That was the uncomfortable part. There's a guilt that attaches itself to competence. If you can handle more, shouldn't you? But the numbers told a different story. With the increase, I'd be paying nearly as much as renting a small place on my own. That thought didn't feel rebellious. It felt clarifying. I didn't argue further that night. I nodded, closed the laptop gently, and went to my room. I opened my own spreadsheet. Rent averages, security deposits, moving costs, utilities, internet, groceries. The math was simple. Staying meant subsidizing my brother's adulthood. Leaving meant funding my own. The harder calculation wasn't financial. It was psychological. Leaving meant stepping outside the structure I'd been told was normal. 2 weeks later, I signed a lease on a 1-bedroom apartment 20 minutes away. Nothing fancy. Thin walls, a narrow balcony that overlooked a parking lot. I packed quietly. On moving day, Dad stood in the hallway with his arms crossed. "You're overreacting," he said. "This isn't about money. It's about family balance." I loaded the last box into my car. "I'll pass," I said. Later, when he texted asking if I'd reconsidered the increase, I sent the same words, "I'll pass." The apartment felt strange the first night. Too quiet. No footsteps overhead. No brothers arguing about whose turn it was to take out the trash. I kept expecting regret to hit me like a wave. It didn't. What I felt instead was space. For the first month, my parents acted like I was staging a protest. Mom sent articles about rising rent costs. Dad forwarded me reminders about shared responsibility. I responded politely but briefly. Then the tone shifted. My older brother's hours were cut at work. My younger brother missed a credit card payment and started avoiding now. The budget that once worked barely had relied on my inflated contribution. Without it, things strained. I knew this because my mother began calling more frequently. Not to argue, to update. "We're just adjusting," she'd say. "It's temporary." Temporary stretched into 3 months. The call came on a Thursday evening. I was on my couch assembling a cheap bookshelf when my phone lit up with Dad's name. He didn't usually call twice in a row. He had that night. I answered on the second ring. "The power company shut us off," he said. No preamble, no lecture, just fact. I pictured the house in darkness, the kitchen table, the refrigerator silent. "They posted a notice," he continued. "We're sorting it out, but it would help if you came back, just until we stabilize." There it was, the unspoken addendum. "And resume your higher contribution." I felt something twist inside me. Not satisfaction, not vindication, something heavier. "I'm not moving back," I said carefully. Silence. "We're not asking for charity," he replied, though that was exactly what it was. "We're asking you to support your family." I looked around my apartment, my bookshelf half assembled, my lamp glowing softly, my bills stacked neatly on the counter, already paid. "I can help differently," I said. He didn't respond immediately. "I'll send you a budgeting template," I continued, "and I can sit down with you this weekend to restructure things, but I'm not rejoining the household financially." The silence deepened. This wasn't defiance, it was refusal without drama. "You think you're better than us now?" he asked quietly. "No," I said. "I just don't think I should cost more because I earn more." Another pause. When he spoke again, the edge was gone. "We'll let you know about Saturday." They didn't come Saturday. A few days later, the lights were back on. My mom texted a short message of "handled." I heard through my aunt that they'd taken a small personal loan. My brothers both picked up extra shifts. No one apologized, but something had shifted. When I visited weeks later, during daylight, on my terms, the kitchen table felt smaller. The dynamic felt different. My father didn't open a spreadsheet. My brothers didn't look away when I entered. They were polite, slightly cautious. The house was lit, but not brightly. Bills were stacked neatly near the fridge. I stayed an hour. When I left, my dad walked me to the door. "You're serious about staying out there?" he asked. "Yes." He nodded once. Not agreement, recognition. Driving back to my apartment, I expected to feel victorious. I didn't. Independence isn't loud. It's quiet and occasionally lonely. It doesn't come with applause. But that night, when I flipped my own light switch and the room illuminated without negotiation, I understood something simple. Fairness isn't always collective. Sometimes it's personal. And sometimes the most responsible thing you can do for your family is refuse to carry.